So we got to keep that Rose Bowl in the past. That's a stat now. That doesn't define us. What defines us now is the new season coming up.
How much does last year's experience, even though it was a great senior class, how much does winning the Rose Bowl, doing what you did, putting TCU more firmly on the college football map, how much has that prepared you, though, for this season and the young group that you have?
It helped us a lot. As a young team, we see what we had to do to get to that spot. We work hard, the preparation we need to do, so that helped us out a lot.
So how much has been put in to the off season to maintain TCU football? You've worked long and hard to get this program where it is. How hard has it been in the offseason to try and keep it there?
I don't think it's any different than 2004 when we didn't go to a bowl game. Every year our motto has always been go back to the beginning, go to the bottom of the pyramid with attitude, chemistry, family, and accountability, and just build the best football team that we could. I think that's what coaches and players can do is you can live up to your level of expectation of what you can have, your abilities that you can play, and really that's all you can do, and that's really what we do, and it keeps away the pressure, whether it's being that you didn't win or you just won a Rose Bowl. It puts it back into perspective, because most people told us a year ago before the Rose Bowl, well, you'll never, Fiesta Bowl is as far as you're going to get, and then here you're back in the Rose Bowl doing the things we were able to do. So you got to be careful about selling yourself short or overlooking something that you don't need to.
So you've put all the hard work into the off season, and now you're here. You're in Las Vegas. We're kicking off the 2011 season. What's this event like for you players? What does it signify to you, Tank?
It's a lot of fun. This is Mountain West Conference Media. It's our last year in the conference, so we came here to have a lot of fun. We were walking around seeing the strip. We went to the strip yesterday, so it's a lot of fun being here with all. It's not so much all the interviews, but it's got to be done, and it's a lot of fun.
How about for you, Josh?
Same as Tank. Meeting the players, conversating with them, just talking about life and stuff like that.
Now you've got to look ahead to the 2011 campaign. The schedule that they've laid out for you isn't exactly the easiest. You open up with a tough game against Baylor, a team that's been much improved, has an outstanding quarterback in Robert Griffin. What's it like preparing for a game like that? And then on the backside of that, Air Force Academy Falcons.
Well, very similar. Both are triple option type offenses. Baylor's very similar offense with the read option and being able to run with the quarterbacks, vertical threats. And then Air Force is Air Force. We started in the spring on them. And then really because our offenses were very similar, it'll give us more opportunity to prepare for Air Force going on the road. But, as you always have to do, we've always had our best seasons when we had to start on the road. We've had to start against great competition, just like in 2008 we played Virginia, and then we had to go to Clemson. And so this year's not going to be different. If you want to do something that nobody felt like you could do, you got to do it the hard way, and this will be no different this year.
What do you think of the schedule and the way it lays out for you guys with Baylor, with Air Force, with the Mountain West Conference teams that you'll have to play against? And of course, you've got that game in Boise this year that was supposed to have been in Fort Worth. We won't get into that too much, but how do you think the schedule lays out, Tank?
The schedule is really out of our hands. If we had a choice, we would have liked it a little differently, but it's the way it fell. So we're just going to take it one game at a time. We're looking towards Baylor right now. That's the first game of the season. You can't win the second, third, fourth, fifth until you win the first. So right now we're looking at Baylor. Same as Tank said, looking at Baylor, we're playing them early in the week, so that gives us enough time for Air Force to prepare more. So, we're just ready for the first game.
What's it like for you players to have Boise State moving into the Mountain West? I know this is your last season in the conference, but this is a school, a program that you've developed somewhat of a rivalry with the last couple of years, be it in postseason play. Games have been incredibly competitive, and you've got one chance at them in conference play.
It's going to be a lot of fun because in the past years that we played, I played in the Tostitos Bowl and a tough loss, but every year we played them, when we played them in the Poinsettia Bowl, it was a fight to the end. Whether it's field goal, touchdown, it's always a dogfight right to the end. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens when we go to Boise.
What about you?
It's big. I think to measure stuff, we've always in our schedule always had teams. Next year we play Oklahoma at home. This year we're going to Baylor because of Big 12 team measuring stick game. We have LSU on the schedule. Playing Boise, just like playing anybody else in the conference. They only count one. But the bottom line to it is we have had history in big bowl games against them. But I think the thing that you got to remember is that game's not counting anything if we don't take care of our business going through the first part of our schedule. And for us, it kind of goes into four parts. You have the first two games with Baylor and Air Force, and you have a three-game homestand. And then you have SMU, and then you have to go to San Diego State. We get an off week. And then you go into the heart of our schedule with everybody else, and then finish everything up in November. But it's kind of, every year's been different. We write a paragraph, we write a letter out basically stating how we need to be able to navigate the season, how it needs to turn out, and I'll read it to them, what I think when we start two-a-days, like I always do, and see if we can achieve it.
This will be a very different team for TCU with that great senior class that you said goodbye to after the Rose Bowl. You've got one of the smallest senior classes perhaps in your tenure with the Horned Frogs. You're losing some great, not just players off last year's team, Andy Dalton, Marcus Cannon, Kirkpatrick, Curley, those kind of guys who starred for so long. You're also losing a lot of character and certainly leadership at the quarterback position. How do you as a coach and how do you as players develop that character and leadership that so defined that last class? So we'll start with you, Josh.
Just taking in what the senior class gave us before, leadership-wise, showing how to work hard and what not to do on and off the field. So it's coming back players, have to show the younger guys that's coming in the things that they taught us.
As being a leader since past year, and this is my third year to start, you step into that role a little more when you become a senior, and it becomes real as to really your last season. So, and I think the biggest part is growing up the young guys. That's really going to be we just, like I said, we need to grow up the young guys. That's the biggest part of the season. That's going to make or break us, because if we can't get the young guys grown up and get some depth, then you really don't have a football team. It's all about the 2s and 3s, and depth is how great your football team is.
I know you as a coach want to hear players say, I want to be a leader. I want to develop those younger players. But how have you as a coach prepared for a football team without an Andy Dalton and so many of the other guys I mentioned?
Over the last 3 years, 2008, they said, how would you replace a Jason Phillips? Then the next year, how do you replace a Jerry Hughes and a Darrell Washington? This year, it's how do you replace an Andy Dalton? I think great programs, not great teams. Great programs grow people up. Last year, we replaced Jerry Hughes with Stanley Maponga that was a freshman All-American. And this team will be just like Tank was talking about. This team will be judged the same way. Every year, I always tell them it's not really what happens in August, it's what happens in November. And for us, we've always changed our team a lot because of the way we do two-a-days. And as hard as we push them, we're going to go 4 to 6, the hardest part of the day. And will people mentally grow up and get tough? Because for us to win, you got to defend your house. And we have some good teams coming to Fort Worth. But if you want to win a championship, you've got to be able to take games to people, go into their stadiums. You got to be able to beat them. And to do that, it's not just about athletic ability. It's about mental toughness. It's about wanting it more than they do. And that's going to be this group's challenge. This group's challenge, because we're not about being just an average football program anymore. It's about playing on a national scale. We want to play in a national championship. And how do you get to that point? In 2004, people laughed at us when we said, hey, we want to play in a BCS game. We just came off a losing season, the only season we didn't play in a bowl game. Now you're in a situation where you've been to 2 BCS games. You finished in the top 10, 3 out of the last 4 years. And now what were our old posts. Now how do you change over? And good programs do that. They grow players up. They make people be accountable. Seniors, if you look at you talk to any coach in this conference that you're going to talk to, they're going to tell you if they have the kind of seniors and older players they have, the older players will teach the younger players. Even though they know the younger players may push them to be starters, but they know that makes the program better, and that's what these guys do. They've done an unbelievable job since January of bringing along the younger ones. Now the freshmen this summer, the 7-on-7s, everything that they can do, the coaches aren't around. They've done a great job of putting them in position to be better. And we'll see now, starting in August, if we got the job done.
Final 30 seconds with you. I got to ask you about Casey Paul Hall. He's the guy who's replacing Andy Dalton. He's been around the program a long time. He's gone through three spring practices with you. How well is he prepared to take over those reins after one of the great players in program history is gone?
Well, I'll be short. I think Josh should cover it, but how spring went. I never judged quarterbacks except on Saturday, but I thought he ran the offense really well. And I'll turn it to Josh. He probably have a better feel for Casey and Andy and where things were as far as on the field stuff.
As far as raw talent, I think Casey, it'll probably be better than Andy by the time he's finished. But he needs to get some more games under his belt, get some more leadership role. And as an offense, we're helping him out, picking up blitzes, catching the ball, little things to get his confidence up.
And I know you're going to be chasing him all over the field in practice here in the next couple of weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
We'll find out how good he is when he gets away from a
He's
linebacker.
gonna have the red shirt on though, so he'll be all right.
Okay. Guys, it's great to visit with you. Gary, congratulations on all the success. Best of luck in 2011.
Thanks for
We're going to take a timeout right here in Las Vegas, and what we're going to do, send it back to our studios in Denver and Marius.